Coming up right now, it's a new high school crash course focusing on one of life's biggest necessities.
Also coming up, a job interview takes a strange turn when a Gen Zer changes her appearance.
All right, a little bit later on. New York City has the first ever 2D dining experience. It feels like you're kind of eating inside of a sketchbook. We're going to show you some more pictures of this.
Aha, take on me.
There you go.
In a restaurant. Daily Flash starts right now.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your host, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrea Jackson.
Hey, I'm Mitch English, and this, kids, is Daily Flash. So glad to have you here. We're going to have some fun this hour. Today's trends, tomorrow's talk. We got Matt Doolittle sitting next to Matty.
Guys, we have a bunch of great trends on our website over at dailyflashshow.com. A lot of behind-the-scenes things that sweet baby James shows us. I've got a little show in there, preview, review, jumping into a lot of more of the theme park stuff and some of the Disney D23 stuff and Disney Celebration stuff coming out. So sound off. Send us your comments. Flash at dailyflashshow.com.
Thank you there, Matty.
Okay, new article came out this morning about how many people are incorporating streaming into their television services. And streaming is now like the go-to service for everyone.
It overshadows, I believe, 40%. I remember looking at the thing, if people are now streaming and broadcast TV, right?
And so, you know, where it used to be, we'd go for cable, you sign up for cable, people are backing away from that. And most every household in this country has at least one streaming service, and that's being conservative. But what's also interesting is a lot of these streamers are going back to appointment television, where you could binge these shows, and now it's once a week. And so people are really split on this. Do you like to be able to binge a show all at once? Do you wait until the show's episodes are all out in order to watch it? Or do you like the appointment television because it gives you something to look forward to once a week?
It's a little bit of a smorgasbord for me, at least.
Yeah.
Matt and I were actually talking about this earlier this morning about, Sunday night or Monday is, I'm watching TV with my wife, I love the same shows.
Yes.
And it's kind of nice to look forward to a new episode coming up on Sunday. We're like, make it a whole thing. But there's also some shows where I'm like, I'm probably not all that interested in, but it's probably good. And I'll binge those, and I could take them at my pace.
I was listening to Ben Stiller. He was doing an interview about Severance and how when Apple TV puts that out, they do it weekly like that. It drives everybody nuts. And he said, well, the reason is that so it kind of saturates. They learn that if you binge it, you're like, wait, I'm not paying attention to that. You're missing this. So Apple, what their mentality is in doing that, and Disney does it also, is that it saturates. You get a 10-week promotional push on it because everybody's talking about it for 10 weeks, not just for a week, and it moves on. Like when Tiger King came out, we talked about it for 2 weeks, and then it went away. So
that makes complete sense. What about you? What are you?
It's fun to be able to binge certain television shows, especially if you've missed something and you're like, oh, I never saw that when it was out. Now I can go back, and Fargo comes to mind, the television show. To be able to watch every episode is fantastic because they all end on a cliffhanger. So it's kind of delicious to be able to binge watch that. However, I do notice that because I watch so many in a row that I don't end up retaining a lot of stuff from that show. But when I watch something once a week, I definitely live it a little bit more.
If I have, it gives me something to look forward to, as I mentioned first. But I also, my interest has to be, I don't really care if I binge it. Because I know, like what Matt was saying, what you're saying as well, is that it's going to be, all right, well, that was my weekend, and then that's what I did.
There's a weekend gone,
It's gone. I can see it, and it makes a lot of sense to me. I also find it interesting, too, is that content, like on television, you couldn't, remember when Dennis Franz showed his butt on NYPD?
That was the biggest thing in the world.
Right, remember that? But if you think about that, like that was, they figured it was after 9 o'clock or whatever, but in streaming, there's no rules to that. They can do whatever they want.
That's true, right.
And sometimes I think because of the fact that and I relate it to Howard Stern, how his show changed dramatically when he went to satellite and didn't have rules anymore. It seems like those rules kind of kept it a better storyline for me somehow. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's like you got to stay within this box and push the limits.
Yes, because sometimes it's cussing or nudity for the sake of cussing or nudity. It doesn't have anything really to do with.
Gemstones.
Am I quoting that?
No. That's what that show is. They do it just because.
But to me, like, that's a missed opportunity in storytelling. Because if you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, then it loses something. When you're sort of confined to stay within a certain border, you're forced to be more creative.
Well, and to go back to Howard's example, when he went to satellite, it was F-bombs for the whole first week, and then finally he was like, okay, we need to put the reins. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you have to do it. And
but the Howard now compared to the Howard 20 years ago
completely different.
Are completely two different people.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's in his early 70s.
Same with Jimmy Kimmel, too, from The Man Show. People forget Jimmy Kimmel on The Man Show. He was atrocious on that show. The stuff that he did, I can't believe ABC gave him a job.
Girls on trampolines.
The girls on trampolines was a thing all the time.
I mean, seriously.
So things are changing.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Speaking of binging, it's nice to watch old television shows like that.
Yes.
Like Seinfeld, I'll binge. It's there for us. So it's interesting, and it keeps me up at night if I watch too much. And if kids are doing it, they actually now are some schools dealing with this. It's called sleep training, and it's no longer just for newborns. There's some high schools out there that are now teaching teenagers, this is interesting, how to get a good night's sleep.
Really?
Complete making sense here. Scientists say that teens, it's actually natural for them to stay up later, but studies show that they actually suffer more from sleep deprivation than any other age group. Experts believe it could be either playing a role in what many are calling a current mental health crisis. Adolescents need between 8 to 10 hours of sleep each night for their brains and their bodies to develop. Today, most teens, they average about 6 hours of sleep. Schools say attendance and behavioral issues are the results of students not getting enough Z's. Completely 100% seeing this. I think video games, the computer, the access to it, television, and everything, it keeps them up at night. And if you stay up late one night and then you sleep in, then you stay up late the next night.
What boggles my mind is these kids that go to high school, I see them in the neighborhood and they're at the bus stop at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
That's another thing.
I don't get it. And then the elementary school kids are out there at 9. Why wouldn't you swap those? Why wouldn't the high school kids be at the bus stop at 9? Give them like another hour or two to sleep in, and the elementary school kids, get them off to school early.
And to me, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And there's some schools that are actually pushing back the start times of schools because also, too, parents don't get home until 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
It'd be nice for the kids, especially teenagers, to be home from school closer to when the parents come home.
Exactly.
So you got to think, there's a lot of dynamics that go to all of that, but I have to tell you, it is one of those things that it's the hardest thing to break. And it's the best thing for him. Having a wife that is a doctor of nutrition says he's got to get his sleep.
The sleep is extremely important.
It's scary when you don't, and you just do better altogether. And even at work, we can attest to all those things. And I think that's why we're starting to see Adderall usage going up as well.
Yeah.
People just to try to keep it people up and awake.
That's a whole other avenue to go down, is just the prescription drugs that some of these kids are getting at such an early age. And then how does that affect your development? Because at that particular age, puberty, all the hormones, everything in your body is changing. What are you doing to your body over the long haul when you're using that kind of stuff to Band-Aid a situation that could be easily remedied with some good sleep?
Sleep.
Yeah.
Get as much sleep as you can, kids. You're going to want it when you're older.
Yes, this is true. Okay, ChatGPT, you've got something here for us.
Right. People actually offer return to their pets as family, and now they can actually look the part, all thanks to artificial intelligence. Dog owners are now transforming their beloved furry friends into people with the power of ChatGPT. Users, what you can do is upload a photo of a pet, and they want to virtually humanize. Then they would use the prompt, what would my male or female dog look like as a person? Well, the digital AI host will then produce an image of the pet's inner person.
Okay, so we wanted to go the other way with this. So since Matt and Mitch are always traveling the country on assignment, we wanted to see what their dog days would look like. All right, you ready?
Let's do this.
Here they are on St. Patrick's Day.
Let's see here. Pop that up there.
And here they are on St. Patrick's Day.
Let's take these full so people can see these better. These are great. These are great. Take this full, Zach.
All right, coming up next, here they are on assignment in Baltimore.
Okay. Yeah, I remember doing this. Yeah.
Now here they are trying to bite more.
I'm digging it.
The glasses are the
glasses
killer.
are pretty wild, but the head tilt and everything.
Yes.
I look like Benji, the dog Benji.
I kept getting a basset hound.
Basset
hound. Beagle, yeah.
All right, finally, here they are at the Billy Joel concert in Tampa.
All right, yeah, remember that day.
And here they are at the Barky Joel concert at a dog park or
Look
something.
at that. I love it. It's a man. Look at that. That is
Yes, it does.
crazy.
You're right.
Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't catch that.
I love that. The height. Yeah.
The height is good.
I appreciate that. I love the
nailed the vest, and it's all about the prompts. Like you got to be able to talk to ChatGPT. I've gone to YouTube University on how to get it. Just in there, and if you play with it, it'll be nice to you.
I'm a furry. Yeah, you just say it. I think we look better as dogs. What do you think?
Yeah,
I think you guys look great. Yeah. I like the height difference, the glasses. There's a lot of personality.
Don't forget to spay and neuter your talk show hosts.
I'm going to do what all dogs can do, but I'll do it in the commercial break. I'll be right back after this. I'm trying to lick my own butt.
No more crying over you.
Today on the scene, I have the McBride in the McBride and the Ride. Terry McBride. Your tune, No More Crying, really shot McBride and the Ride to stardom after it was featured in the 90s cult rodeo film, 8 Seconds.
Yeah, I like to joke, we're in that movie, 8 Seconds, for about 6 seconds during.
Oh, man, they owe you 2. They owe you 2 seconds.
We got to hang out with Luke Perry all day, pretend like we were movie stars. It was something I'm glad we took the time to do, because back then they had us busy. We were doing a lot of touring in that during that period. So we forced them to take a little time off so we could be involved in that project.
You've penned more than a dozen hits for some of the greatest country artists of all time.
I've been fortunate where a lot of the cuts that I have are artists that I look up to. I mean, whether it was Alan Jackson and, of course, Brooks and Dunn, Ronnie. I met Ronnie, and he invited me over and said, hey, listen, man, I'm getting off the band bus. I'm getting a bus. Why don't you come go with me? And off we went. And that turned into 13 years of writing songs for Brooks and Dunn.
McBrideandtheride.com. Visit there. Get the new live album now, available anywhere. You can stream or buy music.
I've really enjoyed this on and off the air, so I hope we get to do this again sometime.
Catch The Scene with Doreen every Wednesday at 38 past the hour, only on Daily Flash.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Andrea Jackson. Ladies, they say working moms can't have a meaningful work-life balance, but one country is proving them wrong. Joining us to talk more about it is Allie Kelly. She's an economy reporter for Business Insider. Hi, Allie.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So what are some of the challenges millennial parents face in balancing their careers with childcare here in the U.S.?
Yes, so Andrea, there's a couple layers that millennial parents have in balancing their parenting with their careers. One of the things is that millennials are having children a little bit later than prior generations in their 30s and 40s. So they're waiting until they're more financially stable and more stable in their careers. But when they have to wait until their children are past that baby toddler stage and old enough to go to school, they have really significant childcare bills. So in some cities, we have childcare bills outpacing wages, being on par with rent and housing costs. And that balance can make it really difficult where parents, especially mothers, are having to make this choice where they want to spend time with their kids, they want to stay on that career ladder, and also maybe can't afford to spend that much on childcare. And so they're making this choice where they want to work, but part-time work in the US is not protected in the same way that full-time work is. So in a lot of cases, part-time workers are having to choose between being able to spend time with their kids, save money on childcare bills, and having health insurance and an employer-matched 401k.
Yeah, it's a really tricky balance. And when I talk to a lot of my friends who are parents, and they tell me it could cost $1,200 a month, and that's being conservative when it comes to childcare. And like you had mentioned, that could be the price of rent or mortgage, you name it. In countries like the Netherlands, part-time employees receive the same benefits as full-timers. How does this approach affect their economy and, of course, their overall health when it comes to that balance?
Absolutely. So the U.S. is kind of an anomaly in terms of peer countries for part-time work protections versus full-time work protections. The U.S. Is really left at the mercy of people are left at the mercy of their companies. So they might have health insurance, other benefits if they're part-time workers because their company offers it, but there's no federal protection in the same way that full-time employees have. In the Netherlands and a lot of other European countries, part-time employees are required to have those same benefits and protections that full-time workers would have. And that translates in the Netherlands to having a higher workforce participation than the US has, in addition to there's a smaller gap between male workers and female workers in the part-time workforce. So one of the things that happens in the US is part-time workers are overwhelmingly women, because women are often put in those roles as stay-at-home or part-time working parents, as caregivers. And so not only does this affect the labor force participation rate, but it really specifically impacts the labor force participation rate for women.
Allie, let me ask you this. Companies like Starbucks and UPS offer benefits to part-time workers. That's really an advantage that company can offer. It's a huge benefit. So what lessons can other U.S. employers learn from these models? And not every small business can afford to do that, but these businesses can. And in essence, it kind of creates this competitive marketplace, because as a part-time worker, I know if I go to work for one of these companies that offers this, gives me a little bit more security. How can we maybe see this trickle down to other companies in the future?
Absolutely. So there's this idea that, increasing part-time work opportunities would make the labor force a little bit more flexible and accessible to a lot of different people, particularly caregivers and parents. One of the challenges, though, is that this is really hard to pass at the federal level in the way that a lot of other countries would have. There's a lot of political hurdles. And even though that there's a bill that's kind of stalled in the House that would add some of these protections. But one of the things, like you're saying, it is that companies can't implement these policies themselves. So Starbucks has done this, where they have a lot of additional healthcare, retirement benefits, stuff like that for part-time employees. And the companies told me that they actually have seen higher retention and lower turnover rates for employees versus a lot of other companies.
All right, Allie, thank you so much. For more on having it all, you can head over to businessinsider.com. We'll also have a link on our website, dailyflashshow.com.
Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English alongside Andrea Jackson here in the Daily Flash kitchen.
Yes, we are joined by our favorite weird food guy, John Graham.
I'm always afraid she's going to say weird guy.
On
Weird
TV.com.
food.
Weird food guy. Insert there. John, welcome.
Hey, thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
We always love when you come in, because these are these new flavors that are out there that people want to talk about. This time it looks like we got pretty much everything that you would find when my wife's out of town. So
I thought we'd start with something. This is a little something new. 3 new potato chips from Lay's, and they're so new, I haven't even had a chance to try them yet. So I thought we'd dive into these really fast. 700,000 entries of people's suggested flavors. These are the 3 finalists.
I remember
Whichever one is the big winner. This is the dousaflavor.com competition. Whoever votes online gets the most votes, $1 million prize.
Wow.
So let's dive in here. We got Valentina and lime.
Okay.
So that's a hot sauce.
Valentina is a hot sauce?
Valentina, it's a Mexican hot sauce made in
$1
Guadalajara.
million potato chips.
Wow, they really seal these suckers. There we
make
go.
sure they stay fresh.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right.
So Valentina is a little thicker than most American hot sauces.
Okay.
You're on in there.
Okay.
Definitely got garlic,
Your thoughts?
vinegar. Yeah, I like it. It tastes like Valentina. This was created by, as I talk with my mouth full, Araceli Huerta from San Jose, California. Her mother used to actually make this by tossing chips in hot sauce and lime.
It's good.
And I can, you can tell it, It's
That's
not
our
too
first one.
spicy, but it is spicy for sure, right?
Next one is from Paula George of Sapulpa, Oklahoma. That's by Tulsa.
Yep, it sure is.
This is bacon grilled cheese.
Okay.
Also something her dad used to make for her.
Aha.
And
Okay.
there's nothing better than, if you're
Very
ever gonna
cheesy.
make,
Very cheesy.
it is cheesy.
I can smell the.
There's
yeah.
both blue cheese and cheddar. Cheddar cheese in these.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, in the days of synthesized flavors, there is actual bacon fat in this.
Oh,
Okay.
bravo.
They're got, like, the bacon is not doesn't smack you upside the head, but it's
No,
in
it's
there.
good.
It's a very cheddar
Yeah.
cheesy
I'm
chip.
loving this one. This is
Yeah.
good.
And then our third one, this is a wavy chip from Lay's. It's the Korean style fried chicken from Neela Lynn of Chesterfield, Virginia. That's outside Richmond. So I think again we're going to get spicy.
Oh, now I noticed the texture on these look a little bit different.
Yeah,
though.
they're ridges.
The wavy chips.
Yeah,
Wavy.
okay, gotcha. All right.
So are you familiar with gochujang? I knew I was going to mess it up. I always mess it up. So it's a Korean.
Yeah.
So it's spicy, it's savory, it's sweet, it's garlicky.
That's interesting.
And it's great. Tossing fried chicken. It has become a trend the last few years here in the States.
Really good. Which one do you like the best?
I think I like the grilled cheese.
Me too. I'm the same. This one's close second.
Yeah, for me, it's.
Not that there's
I
wrong
would
with
say
that.
the other one. For me, that's number one, and the grilled bacon sandwich would be number two.
And I love the spicy, but a little too spicy for me. But if you love spice, you'll love that one.
It's would be great for with a sandwich, by all means. These are all three would be great with a
Great.
sandwich.
So they're
Very
hitting the
good stuff.
stores now. You can try those and then vote yourself at dousaflavor.com.
My vote is on that one. All right.
So literally a palate cleanser now. We've got a new soda from 7-Up, 7-Up Tropical, both zero sugar and full sugar, I guess you would say. Go ahead, pour your guys.
Okay,
guys
it's
on.
this caffeine free. Never had.
Yeah,
it.
caffeine-free 7-Up. So it's lemon lime from 7-Up, and then mango and peach.
Mango
I know you
and
might not
peach,
necessarily
okay.
think of peach as tropical, like Georgia is tropical.
can see
But
that. Cheers.
it's interesting. It's kind of like, juicy fruit gum doesn't taste like any fruit I've ever had, but I love that. So this, this just tastes tropical. It doesn't really taste mango. Doesn't really taste peach. It's just tropical.
Good cocktail mixer.
I think rum would be a perfect thing to throw
Actually,
in there.
this is good. Which
This
we
is
have
nice.
some
It's
under
refreshing.
here.
Ooh, yeah, hey,
I like this one too. And are these available?
Yeah, this one's in stores now.
Stores, okay.
Yeah, I lean a little towards the zero sugar myself. I think it's a little crisper.
I like
They're
the
both
real thing.
very, very sweet.
Yeah.
I like that.
Walmart exclusive here. These are ramen noodles. They have Old El Paso, so a fusion of Mexican and Japanese cuisine. And here, go ahead. I got two there. Those are the birria flavor, which kind of lends itself to a broth since
Spicy?
birria is a stewed beef, mostly here in the States. It's originally goat, I believe. But yeah, so this is flat noodles and little bits of beef in there. I think it's probably more for texture and look than flavor.
I can buy into that. College kids are going to love this. It's a little bit of a
It's
different
not. It's not a $12 bowl of ramen from a shop. It's the thing you got that you keep at the back of your cupboard for when you want something quick. It's late at night. Maybe there's a hurricane or a tornado.
Or maybe you got a little too much to drink.
It's in your kit. So they're not bad.
The flat noodles work.
They are what they are.
They're very-
and then the last one we're wrapping up here is 2 new flavors of Reese's peanut butter cups from Reese's. They're peanut butter and jelly flavored. Let's see, did you each grab one?
I got the peaches.
There's strawberry and grape.
I got the grape one.
See what you
think.
think. I have a favorite.
I got strawberry.
It's close, but I have a favorite. Let's see what you guys think.
Okay.
Strawberry.
1 minute.
Well, you can taste the strawberries. I'm buying it now.
It's not like at first I thought there would be a big layer of texture in there. You can see the fruit, but it's not. It doesn't like it's all kind of one texture. You don't like hit a. You don't feel yourself bite into the layer of jam.
Yeah.
I like the strawberry better, but when I was a kid, I was a strawberry peanut butter and jelly person. For me, the grape is maybe a little more artificial flavoring.
I like the strawberry as well. I can taste the strawberries in this one. Oh, yeah. It's delicious. I love it. I think it's great.
John, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
100%. Be looking for these. Go out and vote. And also all these great things you can eat when your wife's out of town. I'll be doing that as well. And of course, we'll have this whole video. Of course, you can check out John. You can find him on his website.
ThatGuyOnTV.com.
Very simple and very easy to
That
find.
guy.
That guy right there.
On TV.
That guy. Weird food guy.
I'm that guy. I'm on TV.
More Flash right after this. Woo! Bon appetit. This is actually a great lunch for me.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hi, everybody. Jinx.
You owe me a Coke.
I'm Mitch English.
I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash. Today's trends. Tomorrow's talk.
We do this every day, and I
Every
forgot.
day.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
It's okay.
All right. So, anybody have gone to Montana? You ever seen
No,
Montana?
but I'd like to.
It's a gorgeous place.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Is there a lot of things to do in Montana outside of
Cattle
the Big Sky?
drives and steak dinners.
Well, a bunch of the police officers in Bozeman, Montana, are a little bit in trouble. They figure, and I understand this, but because they're cops, people are a little upset. They started a game. Basically, it's a bingo card competition. Okay. So what they did is all right, if you know how bingo plays, if you do something, then you get to mark it off. Yada yada.
Yeah.
So they got busted. The police chief come down, put basically it takes 2 teams of officers. This is what they had to do. Number 1 was getting the lowest team score on a physical fitness test. Okay, that was something you had to do. Whoever had the lowest actually would get a bingo thing. Putting out a fire before the Bozeman Fire Department arrived.
What does that say about the Bozeman Fire Department?
Exactly. And next one is do a search warrant on a car. This is where I think it gets a little iffy because are you doing it because you suspect, or are you doing it because you want the piece on the bingo
card? Yeah.
Getting an over 0.3 DUI bust. Now that's my understanding. 0.3 is pretty bad.
That's pretty bad. I don't know if they're going to find them alive if they're
exactly. So I'm not sure who got that. Everyone on the team bust a felony in 1 week. A 3+ vehicle accident. These are all bingo cards points.
Okay.
Team member hit on by an arrestee, meaning if they're getting arrested, the person has to hit on them, they'll get it. And they have to arrest 3 people out of 1 car. And then finally, $50,000 in warrants per team in a week. So they said, no more of this. You're suspended. But I kind of feel bad for the cops because I know that they had their intentions were there because it's like, let's make our job a little more fun.
That would be in their defense, the stuff they have to see on a daily basis and deal with, to bring some kind of levity to their job. And if this is the way they're able to do it just to clear their mind, I give them grace. I mean, their job is tough enough.
And it obviously was an internal thing. It got out.
Every job does that. I mean, what was the TSA movie over Christmas that came out?
With Jason Bateman?
Yeah, with Jason. Yeah. They had a bingo card for the TSA while they were there.
Point.
So I mean, every job kind of you got to live it up a little bit. Even when I worked at Disney, we had stuff like that.
I got the point. Disney. I got it first because he said Disney. That's not a real one.
It's every day.
All right, moving forward. One employer thought he had seen everything until a recent applicant showed up for a job interview looking like breakfast. The boss shared a clip of the wild job interview, which happened over Zoom. I think that's kind of a violation, I'm sure, in somebody's rules. At first, the boss thought it was a mistake. The female Gen Zer said that she wasn't feeling great and decided to use the breakfast plate filter to disguise her appearance. Unclear about what happened next, but the boss posted the clip on social media for reaction. Again, not sure if that was the best thing I did. It doesn't identify them. And then it also goes on the other side of this, how to be memorable. Is that the best way? I'm like, but when you're hiring somebody, it's like, are you going to be goofing off? If you're customer service, so not the best idea to do it in the world, especially for your job interview.
No, and I would also argue that when you're doing something like this, is this for a stunt? Are they trying to get more attraction and attention for this? The job interviewee and the interviewer, so to speak. I mean, I do recall when I see this, remember the lawyer guy that got caught with a cat filter?
Your Honor, I assure you I'm not a cat.
In front of a judge.
That was so sweet because it was honest and authentic, and he didn't know what was going on, and he's a grandpa, and he's like, my granddaughter had a filter set, and he's like, so I'm not a kitten, I swear.
Like the beginning of COVID when everybody's trying to figure out how Zoom works.
Yeah.
It was the best. It was just such a sweet moment that went
I'm
viral.
sure I'm not a cat.
I guess she switched to a strawberry as well, so she was very conscious of being able to do it. Here's the thing, I'm looking at him. I don't see him holding the camera, so somebody else must have been camera. I don't want anybody else on my job interview. I want to talk to the person who's interviewing me, which makes me think,
yes, it could be a setup. Or the person that really didn't want the job, and they're like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to show up as a strawberry, so I can just check a box and say I did a job interview.
You got a bingo card for job interviews.
Exactly. We got today's Trish. Tomorrow's talk when we return. Stick around.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. More restaurants in New York City are going high-tech in an effort to attract more customers. The Big Apple is home to the first full-service two-dimensional restaurant, which makes diners feel like they're inside of a pop-up graphic novel.
So cool.
Isn't that neat? The interior of the restaurant uses hand-drawn illusions to make the image appear 3D. The chairs and tables are black and white, making it hard to tell where the 2D and the 3D worlds collide. The owner said he hired a makeup artist to help draw the interior space, and it took about 3 months to complete the whole look. This reminds me of Take on Me.
Take on Me, where it was a sketch and it comes to life and that sort of thing. I think this, I would go to a place like this just because when you go, I am a big person on the ambiance of the dining experience that you have. This was really, really cool. I found it interesting. Went with a makeup artist, but I would imagine makeup artists, especially those ones that can do like make you look totally different. It is all 3D based on it. So it makes sense to have somebody like that to help him out, a makeup artist. Hopefully the food's good, right?
Say, I hope your food is good.
Because that would stink for it to have to close down. And then not only that, when you have a place like this, people are taking pictures. And now you got free publicity everywhere. Very, very neat.
Yeah.
About like a kid that loves to color.
Yes, yeah. I'd be outside the lines.
Yes.
Too. Yeah.
Do they give you coloring?
The coloring papers.
Coloring.
It would be cool if it was like whiteboard material. You'd go and
like a grease pen. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's really cool. No, even down to the vases with the flowers in it and everything. Only thing I would say about that is change out the lights because they have the warm lights. I would have used those white cool. Yeah. Even though I don't like quite cool.
No, but the warm lights don't go with the cool white
kind of loses a little
atmosphere.
Bit
of it. Yeah, you could take this in so many different directions because then you could ask people to start coloring in or painting or whatever, and it turns into a whole different experience.
I like Braden's idea with the grease pen.
Yeah,
and then you're done. You can just wipe it off.
Yeah,
very, very neat stuff there. Definitely check that place out.
Hey, welcome to Furry Friends this week. Well, springtime is the perfect time to make sure your pet is up to date on all of its needs. Here's Dr. Tanika Batista from Banfield Pet Hospital with more.
Yes, thanks for having me. Yes, it is getting warmer, and so it's an important time right now to consider for our pets what they may be getting exposed to that they were not getting exposed to in the winter time. So sometimes pets can develop an environmental allergy. And also, they can be exposed to communicable diseases outside that they may not have been as exposed to when they were indoors. That's why bringing your pet in the spring to see a veterinarian and have an office visit is important because your veterinarian can create a preventive care plan that's tailored to meet the needs of your pet and decrease the chance of them coming into contact or developing a condition that's preventable. So the best way to keep your pet healthy is by preventing concerns before they arise. And by having a preventive care plan from the veterinarian, that can actually create a way to keep your pet healthy. At Banfield Pet Hospital, we have preventive care plans called Optimum Wellness Plans. And those plans are tailored to meet the needs of your pet based off of their lifestyle. It's customizable and it makes it more affordable and accessible for you to get that preventive care for your pet. It can include, for example, an annual dental cleaning, unlimited office visits, blood work, deworming, vaccines, a fecal examination, and can also include flea, tick, and heartworm prevention as well. So to learn more, I recommend that you go to banfield.com. You can look into the Optimum Wellness Plan options for your pet, as well as find a lot of really good educational information. And the website does have the locations of the Banfields in the United States. We have over 1,000 Banfields in 42 states. So you'll be able to find a Banfield that's near you and schedule an appointment online as well.
Time for us to check in with Tony Toscano to find out what's coming out of Hollywood and straight to your screen, no matter what size you're going to watch it on. With the latest, here's Tony.
Thanks, Mitch. Streaming on Paramount Plus is the crime series Mobland.
Name's Conrad Harrigan, family man. And if you cross my family, well, you'd better pray.
Power and control are up for grabs as two warring crime families clash in a territorial battle.
I think it's been cast so interestingly that it brings different demographics to the show. I mean, Tom is hugely charismatic in everything he does. Helen and Pierce are having so much fun playing Maeve and Conrad, and I think it really shows. It's delicious to watch them work and then watch the final product. It's a really beautiful ensemble.
I'm just so excited to see audience reaction as the season unfolds, because the storylines get more and more exciting as the war unfolds between the Harrigans and the Stevensons. As you can imagine, a lot of drama unfolds. There's a lot of action-packed craziness that happens. When I was reading the scripts, I was kind of like, wow, how did Jez come up with this? This is like, I was not expecting this. So I'm really excited for viewers to go on that journey and and see how people react.
Mobland is a brutally entertaining and explosive crime drama offering terrific performances by its top-shelf cast, including Tom Hardy, Helen Mirren, and Pierce Brosnan. Again, Mobland is streaming on Paramount Plus and gets an A. It's not rated. Also streaming on Paramount Plus is the conclusion of the series 1923, as the battle for the Yellowstone Ranch reaches its conclusion.
My family is in danger. My wife is lost to me, and I don't have time.
You'll carve this place to pieces.
They can try, but that ain't happening.
In the series finale, Jacob and his crew eagerly await Spencer's return at the train station. Tiona has a fateful run-in, and Alexandra braves the cold.
Talk to me about what you think audiences are going to take away from, the ending of this series.
I mean, I think the audience, let's be real, the audiences are going to be bawling their eyes out. They're going to be angry, and they're going to have lots of questions, and are going to be like, hey, when's the season 3 coming out? You know what I'm saying? Like, all of us are. But, some things are open-ended, so maybe there's going to be hope for something else later on. We already know that there has to be another prequel. You can't just stop at 23.
You can't.
Yeah.
We're all addicted. And Michelle, the same question. What do you think audiences are going to experience from this?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I knew it was coming and I still just lost my mind. I was crying the whole finale. I mean, it's so well done. And I think they're going to still have questions. I mean, not everything's been answered. Some very important questions are not answered.
You can binge watch all the episodes of 1923 on Paramount Plus. The series gets an A and is rated TVMA. For the Daily Flash, I'm film critic Tony Toscano.
Thank you there, Tony. Well, it is time for that one story that's going to make you stop and say, Mitch, please! This one just boggles my mind because when a city landmark has the word road in it, it should be safe to assume that that's exactly what it is, right? Yeah? Well, take a look at this street right here. Does this look familiar to y'all?
Okay.
Yeah, all right. Well, if I showed you another picture, however, of the same place, taken back in 1969, then would you recognize it? Check this out. Of course. Yes, it's Abbey Road, probably one of the most famous roads in pop culture. Well, we went over to TripAdvisor's Abbey Road reviews, and it pretty much makes it crystal clear that some tourists expected, well, more than just a road. These are actual reviews from Abbey Road. Here's the first one. It says, one review titled, Disappointed, Doesn't Cover It. Goes on and says, on reflection, I may have been expecting too much, and my disappointment in not finding street sellers either side of the road selling cheap t-shirts and merchandise was a surprise. Here's another one. A Beatles fan said, there's really nothing to see here. It's just an ordinary zebra crossing. Well, yeah, it's just a street.
It's a road.
And the third reviewer adds, I'm not sure if it's worth going all the way up to this place just to see a street crossing just because it was on a record cover. And you know what? We agree too, because guess what? You can find that street on any map of London. It's there, and guess what? It's not going anywhere at all. And believe it or not, the only thing that's changed from 1969 to today is those little squiggly lines, and that Volkswagen Bug is not behind John. So keep that in mind as well. And remember, it's just a street. I mean, it's not the one you grew up on, right?
Mitch, thank you. Well, there is hopeful new research when it comes to relieving back pain. Here's Dr. Natalia Serrano with all the details.
Hi, thank you for having me. So at a Bayer Medical Affairs employee, I found the study to be very interesting. It examined over 300 trials of non-surgical, non-interventional treatment options for the relief of low back pain. And it found that amongst the few that were found to be successful for the management of acute low back pain are NSAIDs. NSAIDs stand for non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, and they're the types of active ingredients found in products such as Bayer aspirin and Bayer Relief that help relieve acute low back pain. The study reaffirms the role of NSAIDs as a science-backed option, underscoring their value as non-opioid first-line care treatment for low back pain. And it's very reassuring to find these treatment options like NSAIDs that are efficacious and validated by these rigorous, robust, placebo-controlled scientific studies. Acute pain is short-term, it appears suddenly, it does not last for more than 6 months, and it is usually the result of injury, surgery, or illness. And it's essentially your body's way of raising its hand and saying, hey, there's something wrong here. So it's all about keeping a healthy lifestyle. So eating healthy, sleeping well, sleeping on a supported mattress, exercising, keeping hydrated, avoiding lifting heavy things. All of these are strategies that will help you manage your low back pain. So we want to encourage people to talk to their healthcare providers about their back pain, about the different treatment options like NSAIDs that are out there, because all pains are not the same, and it really goes beyond the pain. It's about providing people with these accessible, non-surgical, non-interventional, evidence-based options like NSAIDs that may be an option for people to relieve their acute low back pain and to get back to living their lives.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. It's time for us to take a look at the lifestyles of the rich and famous as we dive into some celebrity real estate.
Here we go. We start with Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. He's officially called it quits with Seattle.
Whoa.
Yep, his sprawling waterfront estate recently sold for $63 million. Bezos bought the 9,400 square foot residence back in 2019 for $37 million. The property features 3 bedrooms, 4 baths, and amenities like an elevator, a glass walkway, and a 2-story guest house overlooking Lake Washington. There's also a rooftop terrace with a fireplace and a secondary kitchen for catering. In December 2023, Bezos announced he was moving to Florida to be closer to his parents.
Interesting there. And if you have a package on the front door, you don't have to worry about porch pirates, at least for that house.
Protected.
Right?
Prime protected.
Prime protected. One lucky buyer just got the keys to the iconic Full House home in San Francisco. You know which one we're talking about, the Victorian property. It's located on Postcard Row. It was made famous in 1987 as the exterior of the Tanner home. The 3-story, 3,700 square foot property built in 1883. It includes views of San Francisco Bay, a private garden, and a 2-car garage. Main floor is designed with an open layout and a large chef's kitchen. The lower level includes a personal gym, a wet bar, laundry, guest room, and access to both the garage and the garden. The home's beautiful bedrooms include a 3rd floor primary suite with a gas fireplace, walk-in closet, spa-like master bath. And although the interiors of the Full House were actually filmed in Burbank studio, the Broadridge Street home became a popular site for the Full House fans. 3 men and 4 little girls moved into the house. I don't think that's true.
Hard to believe if they could all fit in there.
Right?
Marisol Patton, a familiar face from Bravo's The Real Housewives of Miami, has decided to part ways with her cherished family property. She listed her late mom's home for $4.95 million. Parents bought it back in 1990 for around $380,000. Stark contrast to its current asking price, that's for sure. The waterfront home features nearly 4,000 square feet with a split-level layout. Built back in 1965, includes a boat dock along the canal with ocean access, the built-in bar. Water views earn the home some screen time on the Miami-based reality series. Patton is listing the property herself without any brokers.
Well, good for
Beautiful
her.
spot.
That does it for our show. We thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, we sure do. For more information on any of today's stories, be sure to visit our website, dailyflashshow.com.
Bye-bye.